It's 6:44 right now, and for many years, there's been endless discussion about development on the outer harbor.
Yeah, no doubt. But a century ago, one of our nation's foremost innovators and industrialists saw its potential. And as we find in this week's Unknown Story of Western New York, that was not Henry Ford's only Queen City connection.
Henry Ford had a long relationship with Buffalo. In 1913, he began assembling cars on Kensington Avenue. 3 years later, he built a new factory in what's now known as the Tri-Main Building. But his connections were also somewhat personal at times. He visited the Chautauqua Institution on a number of occasions with Thomas Edison, who was married to the institution founder's daughter, Mina Miller. And he even made his first sale here, even before the Ford Motor Company was a thing.
He actually sold his first car, experimental car, to a guy in Buffalo. And the guy kept it for a few years, and then Henry Ford bought it back to put it in the Henry Ford Museum.
In 1896, he sold the first functional automobile, the quadricycle, to Charles Ainsley of Buffalo for $200. But it was 1931 that Henry Ford really expanded his industrial footprint here on Buffalo's outer harbor.
Well, there were only 35 plants across the country at the time, so Buffalo was a main spot for him, and with all the shipping, the Erie Canal, it was a major, major place.
The $6 million assembly plant on Furman Boulevard took advantage of Niagara Falls' abundant power and the dock access the lake provided.
What did that say about Ford's confidence in this area?
Well, it was a big deal. He, again, to be on the waterfront and to be able to ship, and the grain milling and all the other industries that were here and the manufacturing that was here.
And by 1953, the plant had about 1,250 employees making 50,000 cars and trucks annually. At peak production, a new vehicle left the assembly line every 2.5 minutes. And the Furman plant became the last place in Buffalo where finished automobiles rolled off the line. More than 1.2 million Ford cars and trucks were made there.
By 31, everything was mechanical and electronic, and everything was really flowing.
In 1958, Ford opened the Hamburg stamping plant, which is still there, and moved on from their waterfront digs. But the building, known now as Terminal A, may have an exciting future. The Naval and Military Park has looked at various sites on the outer harbor, including the terminal building, as possible expansion sites. So stay tuned.
I cannot believe that Henry Ford sold his first car to a Buffalonian.
And then bought it back. And it's still on display at the Henry Ford Museum. And as for what may be next out on the outer harbor, 2 years ago, the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation put together an advisory committee to look into options. They also hired an advisor to look into a market study, possible use, including light industrial, warehouse, cultural, maybe even residential. They're expecting the results of those studies later this year. So maybe we'll have more of an idea, at least for Terminal A, the old Ford plant.
A lot of untapped potential there.
Without a doubt.